After coaching hundreds of agency owners over the last 5 years, I keep seeing the same things come up again and again. The same patterns, the same bottlenecks, the same reasons people stay stuck. If you're stuck at the same revenue number for month after month, if your income is always fluctuating, or if your agency has hit a wall and you can't figure out why, this video is for you. Hi, I'm Johannes, and I went from 80K in debt to multiple six figures, and I now coach agency owners at the highest level every single week. And in this video, I'm going to give you everything I've learned so you can finally start growing. The thing is, the fluctuation is not bad luck. It's a pattern with a source. Your business is a mirror. When the same thing keeps happening at the same level, the level itself is trying to tell you something. At 10K, you've proven the model works. The question now is, why it won't go past a certain point? And the answer is almost never in strategy. It's always the same. And I see it everywhere. You scale up to 5 to 7 clients, and depending on the niche, you make around 10 to 18K. And then you stop your outreach and get stuck in fulfillment until you lose 2 free clients in one go, and then you panic and you restart your outreach again until you have another 2 free clients, and then you're again stuck in fulfillment and switched up your outreach. And this goes on and on and on. You have a working system, but you are the bottleneck in it. Your system is not the problem, but your belief about letting go usually is. If you still see yourself as the person who does the work, rather than the person who builds the machine, your behavior will reflect that even when you don't want it. And this is how you stay technicians forever. You tell your things like, it's faster if I do it. No one else will care as much as I do. But dig one layer down and it's almost always a belief, not a fact. The ceiling at 10K is often the point where growth requires trusting other people or trusting yourself at a high level. And that's where the block usually lives. The thing you keep putting off is the exact thing keeping you at this level. You work in the back end and it feels productive, tweaking the offer, refining the process, optimizing systems, but its movement doesn't compound. Your nervous system decides that visibility is dangerous. And the thing being avoided the most is almost always the thing that would create the next level of growth. And that, my friend, is not a coincidence. Well, let me ask you a question. Be honest to yourself. Ask yourself, what is it that you tell yourself since weeks that you should do to move the needle? Is it starting your own outreach? Is it starting to post on LinkedIn? What is it? Be honest. Not to me, my life doesn't change, but be honest to yourself. By the way, if you want to find your unique path to scaling, I'd recommend taking the agency scaling quiz, which you can find for free in the description. Right, let's talk about the imposter syndrome. The imposter syndrome doesn't disappear at 10K. It just wears a different mask. Let me explain. The imposter syndrome shows up a little different at this level, but it's still there big time. If you're discounting your own results or feel like your clients could leave at any moment, if you hesitate before raising prices and you undersell on sales calls and then you over-deliver to compensate for a feeling of just not feeling enough, or you experience the I just got lucky pattern where you, instead of owning results, attribute them to the client, the timing, the market, anything but yourself. If you experience anything like that, my friend, say hi to your imposter. And this pattern keeps the ceiling in place because the internal story doesn't match the external evidence. And the subconscious will find ways to bring reality back in line with the story. What changes though when this gets addressed is not just the confidence on sales calls, but the whole energy of how you show up with clients, how you price yourself, and how you position yourself. Your revenue is fluctuating because your identity hasn't caught up yet. Another big one is what I call the financial thermostat. When the number goes above what feels normal, something happens. A client leaves, a project falls apart, motivation dips. It's the operating system pulling you back to a familiar territory. And that's not metaphorical, it plays out in very specific observable behavior. Underpricing, over-delivering, not following up, and letting leads go cold. Have you ever heard about be, do, have? Most people think you do the work, get the results, then become the person. but the identity has to come first. If you don't see yourself as someone who runs a 50K agency, you won't make the decisions that a 50K agency owner makes. And at this level, the next move is almost never a new strategy. The point isn't to never test new things, but it's to be honest about whether you're genuinely looking for a better strategy or looking for a way out of the discomfort of executing the current one. At this level, most people already have enough to get to 25K with what they have. The blocker is execution, not information. And you know what's funny to me? You guys now always think about new funnels, new systems, and you change strategy in your head literally every freaking week. And if I ask you what's your goal, you say 50K. However, you don't do outreach, you don't post regularly on LinkedIn, you don't open your YouTube channels, you don't open your personal brand. Like, how the fuck do you want to get there? And then when I ask deeper, like, why don't you hire, bro? It's like, I don't know, I just feel like it's not the right time. I will do when, but when never fucking comes. So let's be real. You are lying to yourself every freaking day. And why? Because you do not want to see that the biggest bottleneck in your business is you. Look up at Konstantin, right, that I just told you before. He built his agency along his apprenticeship, right, because he wanted not to disappoint his parents. We shifted one belief, no external conditions, and he went straight to 25K. The question that you need to ask yourself is, have you actually exhausted what you're doing now, or have you just hit resistance and called it a ceiling? At 10K, most people already have enough to get to 25K with what they have. The blocker is always execution and not information. The next thing is visibility is costing you more than you realize. If you hit 10K, you have the results, the system, and the knowledge. So why the fuck aren't you posting it and show it there? It's not time, it's not knowing what to say. But if we are real for a second, the only reason you're not showing up is something underneath is blocking. Time is never the issue when something feels safe and easy, so that's another bullshit excuse. Let me tell you about Noah, stuck at 4K. Well, you always say, I'm a bit timid about going public. We fixed that one thing, 29K in 90 days, no new strategy. Visibility is leverage. The longer you stay hidden, the more it costs you. Every month you're not showing up is pipeline you're not building. Now it's coming something interesting as well. Very often the pattern that got you to 10K is the same pattern blocking you from going past that. What do I mean? Well, doing everything yourself got you here, but it won't get you past there. The one skill that built the business can become the block that caps it. Let's say you are a perfectionist, for example, and your attention to detail is what made the work good enough to get clients. But perfectionism at 10K means slow delivery, bottlenecks, and a team that can't function without you because you have to fucking control everything. Or the need to control client relationships personally. Fucking great for retention. But it becomes a massive scaling problem when the business needs to run without you being the product. The work is to identify which strengths have become constraints and decide to evolve past them. That, however, requires a specific kind of honesty that most people can't do alone. The operators who break through are the ones willing to look at themselves honestly. You know what's really crazy to me? It's the fact that the people that need that work the most are the ones who refuse it the most. Sometimes I would just like to hold them up and shake them. I cannot tell you how often people finally close the deal and work with me after months of resistance, and nothing has changed in the meantime. 6 months later, they are still at the same, maybe even on a very worse space. I know it because I can see it immediately. Or you do the work, or you stay like this your whole life. And when they finally start, they are like, why the fuck did I wait so long? Borislav stopped trying to prove himself, stopped overcomplicating, and just did the thing. Revenue jumped 30% in 2 weeks and tripled over 90 days. That's a choice, and it's available to anyone watching this. So if you're anywhere between the 5K to 25K mark and you keep hitting the same ceiling, it's almost certainly not a strategy problem. You've already proven the model works. What you're hitting is an operator problem. The patterns I've just walked you through, the fluctuation, the avoidance, the identity ceiling, the things that got you here becoming the things that cap you. These are all fixable, but they don't fix themselves. If you want to find out what's holding you back so you can finally fix it, jump over your own shadow and book a call with me. What do you have to do anyways? We will analyze your situation, find your biggest bottleneck, and give you an action plan so that you are ready to freaking rock. Check the link in the description to book your call now. And if you want to go deeper on this subject, I'd recommend watching the video on screen now. It's 20 years of business mindset knowledge, all condensed into one single video. I'll see you there. Peace.